Good morning, friends. Hi, all of you. Good morning. Today we are going to discuss about the ISO 45001 2018. So this is a very important part of safety purpose. This is newly developed by the ILO International Labor Organizations Standards. Means ISO 45001 ISO 45001 and 2018 is developed in 2018. This is a new development for health, occupational health safety management systems instead of our ISO 18001, which are migrates and dispose means that eliminates an new development of ISO 45001. We can say that ISO 18001 has been left, and this ISO 45000 will be continue to improvement occupational health safety management system. What is ISO? ISO many persons, many people are confused to what is meaning of ISO. ISO means directly international standardizations for organization. ISO standard ISO standard I mean international standards organization, but that calls international organizations for standardizations, that call ISO meanings. ISO full form. So this is developed ISO 45001 developed up by the ILO, which are know that in 2018 developed up for a good draft to improvement occupational health safety management systems, and total technical committee members is there which are going to develop this ISO 45001 283 technical committee members is there for developing and helping to improvements that ISO 45001 1, and total times duration approx 3 5 maybe approx 5 year approx 3 years time durations for improvements and for develop a ISO 45001 by the entire approx 90 countries. There uh, their improvements on occupational health safety management system like ISO 45001. This is a good initiative to improvements ISO 45001, because of that major some reasons why ISO 45001 need to be implemented. Why that situations will we come to, we have to improvements ISO 45000, because of this is a many there is many reasons for developing a ISO 45001 instead of 80001. You know that 80001 so already we have developed and monitoring those types of safety measures by the that guidelines. But ISO 45000's main purpose of improvements, because of our entire country ILO observed that and analyzed that our entire country accidents ratio is very high, and many people died due to lack of negligence, lack of commitments, lack of knowledge. So that at times that times there are all our committee members observe, and that try to how to improvements because of our GDP, entire country GDP. We are facing that out of GDP 4% and total GDP, and we are 4% of GDP value. We are going to expand on accidents and incidents. You know that this is a major part of 4% only for depth, only for expand on only for accidental case related the occupational and industry and other sectors. So all committee members think about the how to reduce that type of accidents, how to we can improvements a accidents ratio in our country and entire country. So all committee members think about this those because of technical members ILO also focusing on how to improvement, so how to reduce the accidents ratio uh, because of the 4% of GDP accident ratio is very high. So all committee members think about the we can go to replace that ISO 80001 and make a fantastic and effective controls measures by the ISO 45001 and 2018. So they have all committee members study and make a draft preparations and draft and approval stage. Then finally ISO 45001 approved and established in 2018 for entire country, that calls ISO. ISO is non-governmental governments. There is no any specialist and governments rules, government sectors, but this is a non-governmental which are many members, many country members are there to improvements and good health safety cultures by the certification, by the guidelines. There are many types of ISO is there, you know that already. If you are working in construction sector, then there is ISO 45001, ISO 14001 and 2015, and ISO 9001 2015 and 2000. Also food sectors and other sectors are there, many types of ISO 45002 control of effective management system. So but this is ISO 45000 occupational health safety management systems we can use, we can implement and each sectors, because of there is a two three types of major effective changes and before previous our ISO 45001. So this is very fantastic idea, fantastic controls measures and guidelines to improvement ISO 45001. Second thing, what is the concept of ISO 45001? Why we are going to why we are going to taking certification, and what is the benefits? First concept is there mentions, how concept is there mention, and so if we are going to develop a good health safety culture, and there is a first defined of occupational health safety management systems and reduce of injury and ill health and mental and physical during the work. This is a main purpose. If you are going to this, if you are going to take taking ISO 45001, only for summarize is there mentioned, and ill health, reduce of accidents, eliminate the hazards and reduce the risk, eliminate hazards and eliminate the risk and reduce the risk and expectation levels. What is the your expectations? Because we are not going to eliminate the risk. If you are going to work, then continue risk will be available. You know that this is a basic things. If you are going to any work, and how many of how much you are taking the safety measures, then risk will be available. This is a this is a fact. So guys, this is dependency of dependency of risk level. So risk level expectations, what is your expected risk level? You are going to taking make a hazards and risk and everything is there, but some residual risk will be available on that place. So that is a expected risk, because we know that risk levels must be reduced. three types of risk level we are going to observe. First is there low risk, medium risk, and high risk. We must be taken actions about the high risk. If a high risk work are there, then controls measures should be in place, and moderate risk level, then also controls measure in place. But low risk levels also is there, so this is not significant, but at major जो effective like the PPE which are controls measures must be considered, but we cannot worry about the low risk level. So there are the concept of clears as ISO 45002 visions is there mentions reduce of ill health, reduce of mental physical of workers, stress management also stress, because of that if your risk perceptions will be high, if you are the stress, some boss are like not like and firing to others person. So injury, reduce of injury, ill health, and mental physicals, that is main purpose of ISO 45001 implementation. But we are your you have one questions once already we have a ISO 45 80001, then why need to be there is also called reduce of accidents ratio, but there is typical also commitments of management, participations of workers, how to reduce, there is criteria will be changed. So this very important as to concept will be clear. Next is what is benefit of ISO 45000. Why we are going to taking actions, taking the ISO 45001 and 2018. So what is benefit? So benefit is there mentions, first is there no injury, no number of injury will be reduced. Second thing, risk assessments will be there, worker participation and consultations is there, so we can improvements good health safety cultures, and make a good environment health safety, and reduce of cost, and reduce of and minimize the moral and and increase the productivity, and increase a moral if we are going to work, because of reputations of work organize each and every organizations, if we are doing the well work, then reputations will be high, and reputations will be increased in that the country. So there is main benefits of this ISO 45001. So let me about the ISO 45001, how many clause is there. So first is there mentions we have there is 10 clauses is there are mentioned. So already we have read in 18001, 2007, 2080 in 18,000 ISO 80,000 means OSAS 80,001, sorry for that, OSAS 80,001 and 2007 we already read that, but there is also mentioned 10 clauses. First is there mentions scope, and second clause is there mentioned normative reference. Third is there mentions term and definition, and fourth is there mentions context of organization, and fifth is there mentions leadership and worker participation, and sixth is there mentions planning, and seventh is there mentions supports and operations, uh, uh, eight is their operations, and ninth is their performance evaluations, and tenth is their improvements. So 10 clauses is very important for you, but there is there three clauses is first is there mentions scope, normative reference, term and definition. This is a information unrelated the clauses, because we are going to all work, and there is seven requirements is there means seven means as total seven requirements is there if you are going to take ISO 45001 and 2018. So there is eight seven requirements is there. We can say a clause is nothing, but we can say the seven clauses, seven requirement is there in any construction and any industry sector. So guys, first is we can see the scope of scope. What is the what is the so we can say the scope of their scope. What is the ISO 45001 scope is there. First we can see the enhancing health and safety, and complying the non-conformity conformity, dealing with hazards and risk, and how to reduce that systems, accomplishing the improvement occupational health safety management system, satisfy the need and expectations of workers and interested party. This is major scope of the ISO 45001. Second thing, their normative reference. There is no normative reference as in previous, and in that particulars ISO 45001. So next is context of organizations. Context of organizations means you can say the size of focus, the evaluate and context of an organization. So this is a framework of your organization. Context of how many size of your or organization. So what is their mentions of what is the history of your organizations, previous and organization, currently what are going on on market. So understanding the organizations and context, and second, the understanding need and expectations determine OHS management system, determine hazards identifications, risk assessment, determine the scope of OHS management system. So we can say that if you are working, suppose that we are going to one example share with you. If you are going to any organizations to join and conduct an interview, then you should know that first know that what is the organization's structures, what is the history of organizations. Because of you have to you should you have to join this organization. First understand and the organization structures. Suppose that simple also there are how many accidents is there, what is the culture of work, what is the payment schedules, and in what is the mm, what is the reputations in market, how many project is there, how many clients is there, and yeah, what is the politicals related problems. So we can see that, and every organization structures may depend on your framework, what are going on under the organizations. So this is very important part. So in this context of organizations also, or flexibility and open door glass policy means you can look that if you are someone's ask someone's here that organization is good. Suppose that L&T is a good branch, but suppose that others organizations, you know that many organizations is there, but in case of any major part or major accidents and happens, then organizations reputations will be discreet. So this is a major part of ISO 45001, and context of organizations that call all surrounding the area, and history of organizations that also included in that particular scope or context of organizations. Next is their mentions leadership and worker participation. In entire ISO 45001, there is most of focusing on the leadership and participations of workers. So guys, leadership is nothing. Leadership also mentioned in our previous OSAS, but there is mentioned the leadership with leadership and worker participation. Means worker participation is very important part of entire that clauses, and very effective to implement leadership and worker participation. Means there is a leadership, who is leadership, everyone's leadership, if and commitments of managements, In this clause, clear understanding that everyone responsible for safety and commitments of managing directors and ultimatums responsible for safety managing director, because of their responsibility taken to everyone, responsibility taken to subordinate and workers and through the top to middle levels up. If below the staffs means workers, supervisors, everyone not taking serious about the safety and there is happen one accidents, then ultimate responsibles will be managing directors. So this is clear our guideline is there mentioned in ISO 45001. So we cannot away from your responsibility. If any organization is taking ISO 45001, then they cannot away from his responsibility related to the occupational health safety management system. So this is a very fantastic and very effective change in the ISO 45001. After that, you know that leadership means OHS policy, who are deliver the OHS policy make by the managing director, and he is delivered to concept, delivered the policy, which are three contents will be there. First is intended, second is commitment, and third is their improvements. Commitments that all are considered about the ISO 45001, and OHS policy must be considered about the occupational health safety management system, and how to reduce risk, how to eliminate the hazards, what is your commitments, and how to improvements by the latest technology, by the consultations, participation, and so OHS policy must be there. Means leadership clause number 5 is there, leadership and participations of worker, first policy, and leadership commitments, OHS policy, occupational health safety role and responsibility. Each and every person's, each and every organization's part of members, everyone must be irresponsible for safety, and schedule make everyone's responsible about the safety. If you are going to who take actions, if you are going to work on an organization, so everyone responsibility, you know that written responsibility should be given to all of them which are working in organization. So there is also mentions 5.3 clauses. 5.3 clauses also mentions, and second thing, consultations and participations. Consultations and participations very important. So how to consult